It must be
89.9 KMOJ FM and KMOJ HD1 Minneapolis, St. Paul. Bringing unity to the community. 89.9 KMOJ.
She do that damn.
The People's Station.
Good morning and welcome to the African Roots Connection. The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of KMOJ, its staff, management, or board of directors. Now, let's get on with the show.
FM 89.9 KMOJ, we are the People Station. This is the program, The African Roots Connection. A pleasant good morning to you. My name is Charles Dennis. And again, this program is every Saturday from 9 to 10. And if you will download the app, TuneIn Radio, you can listen to KMOJ on your mobile device. So for a program of education, information, and entertainment, we actually keep a dial 7 FM 89.9 KMOJ. We are the People Station. So coming up after this program will be Roz Bunker Jerry at 10 o'clock. He'll be here with Tropical Vibes Cool Runnings. And then at 12 midday, DJ Divine and Nikki Love will be here with Hip Hop Classic. So if you have been listening, about a couple of months ago, I talked with a young man, Mr. Hooper, and he was talking about he acquired a piece of land in West Africa, Ghana, and he was very excited about that. He wants to return to the continent. He is preparing for life after the States on the continent, and he shares experience with us how in touch he felt connected, and how he got this piece of property that he could see the ocean from there. And yeah, it's prime, but there is something that he got for a reasonable amount, and how his crusade is to just get more of us to invest in the continent and return because he felt at home. And so today we are talking with him and also talking about Double A, who also was instrumental in him acquiring that piece of land in Ghana and making the right connection. So today we'll have the conversation about returning to the motherland. What does it really require? What does it take for you physically, emotionally, financially? These two brothers will be sharing their experience with us and how you can also, and if you're interested, just call them and see how to do it. And if you want to do it, it's good, because I can tell you, man, Africa is where it's at. Okay, so keep it down, 7 FM 89.9 KMOJ. We are the People's Station. This is the program, The African Roots Connection. My name is Charles Dennis.
Little Macambo, Lobby Macambo.
FM 89.9 KMOJ. This is the program, The African Roots Connection. And let's start this conversation first by welcoming back our brother here, Mr. Hooper. Good morning. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, man. Thank you, brother. Thank you for having me again. I appreciate you.
You're leaning a little bit more there so we can get you loud and clear.
My bad.
All right, you got it. Yeah, all right. So you were on the program a few months ago, and you talk about your experience to Africa as a young man and what you did there. So for those who maybe missed that conversation with us, share with us what was the purpose for your trip to Africa?
My purpose was to go back there and really see Ghana and specifically Africa for what it is and not what I've heard. You know, instead of hearing about all the stereotypes that are propaganded into our communities, I wanted to really see what it was like for myself. So I went there to feel the people, see the atmosphere, and to also purchase land there. Mm-hmm. And I bought a piece of land right by the beach.
Mm-hmm. So someone would wonder, how do you, because you grew up in Burnsville, that's kind of real white in Minnesota, how do you get up from growing up in Burnsville and say, hey, I want to go to Africa? That's a long shot.
Well, you just have to live the experiences that I've lived being a African American or a black man in America. I've had all the stereotypical African American life that you hear about on movies or in the streets. You know, mm-hmm. My dad went to prison when I was 7 here in Minneapolis for a murder he did not commit. He's still in there. He's done 20 years, and so my mom raised 4 kids by herself, and I've been around guns, drugs, and everything of a stereotypical African American male. So although I grew up in Burnsville, I still had to experience all those things that I just mentioned. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So then what made you decide to take your vision to Africa or to want to live there?
Studying. I read about things, I study, mm-hmm. and also I'm exhausted. I'm tired of constantly seeing Trayvon Martin's or Philando Castile's, the typical story of somebody being gunned down in the streets for doing nothing wrong. So instead of waiting around to be a victim, I'm looking for multiple ways to save myself and my people.
So you decided to go to Ghana, right? And then you visited Ghana, and then you bought a land there. How did that all happen?
One connection after another. Just organically, it was meant to happen. So I was scouring the internet while I'm scouring the internet, working on my thesis for grad school. I was working on my thesis for myself as well. So I went to the internet. I found this YouTube site called Search for Uhuru. It's spelled UHUR. Search for UHURU. Search for Uhuru. And I also found another YouTube channel by the name of Bomani Tyehimba. And through those 2 channels, they inspired me to look at Ghana in a more way that no other people usually don't look at it. So there's a lot of African Americans in Ghana who have already repatriated there. They live there. They've been thriving there for a long time. And then through looking through ways to get citizenship and move back to Ghana, I thought about, okay, well, how can I live there? So that's where Double A came in. And then I seen his YouTube channel, but it was titled Double A at the time. And he was doing step by step on how to build a house in Ghana. So after seeing his videos, I contacted the brother, and then one thing led to another. And
then we have Double A with us today.
Thank you for having me on the show. Okay. I'm really fortunate to be here.
All right, it's good to have you. And so, what's in it for you, man? You live here, and then you're trying to encourage people to move to Ghana or get a house there, build a house there.
So, like my brother Brian said, I originally was born in Ghana. Okay. Moved here when I was 17. Went to high school, Brooklyn, New York, mm-hmm. and then went to SUNY College upstate, and then moved to Minnesota, and then finished at Augsburg. So, but all this time, it's like I feel like the ancestors call you.
Yeah.
And I think I've had this voice ever since I was a little kid, trying to figure out what is our plight as a race in this world, and how do we come into the conditions that we find ourselves. And it's not just in America, in every continent. The darker you are, the bottom you are. Mm-hmm. And so, and it's not a coincidence. We are being subjected to this way. But that also means that you have to think about these things. You have to plan well. And so, when I decided to, when I started building the house, actually, I had a lot of material for about 2 years. I didn't put anything on YouTube yet. And so, because I was debating, whether I should do that. But then I started doing that. And the reason why, those who have seen my channel, it's a big house. And then the reason why I want a big house is for to make it accommodated to our African brothers and sisters whenever they visit. That'll be like a launch place they can just stay and then find themselves. And so, and I think Africa calls you. You don't call Africa. Then the voice is there, and so I commend my brother here for listening to that call, and it's something that you must follow it, and I don't think you can live without that. So that was the genesis of how everything started.
Are there other people like you who are also championing the whole plight of us moving back to Africa?
Yes, but the thing is, like, it's not coordinated. It's like segmented, and so and I think once you start talking to people, you find out that it's not just unique to you. It's just for some of them, it's just making that first step. And so that is when I come in and I say, look, this thing can be done, in a methodical way, and be smart about things and vet things and stuff like that. So that was why I put my series of, how to build, and then the mistakes are learned, and how to also make sure you protect yourself and that kind of stuff. And so for me, it was more like a big picture to let our people know that, hey, you don't have to take it. You always have an option.
But so listening to this, it sounds like a wonderful idea, and it is. So I'm kind of wondering, what is it like as far as U.S. citizen and buying land in Ghana, somewhere where you're not a citizen politically, right? How does all that work?
So Ghana doesn't differentiate whether you're a citizen or you're not a citizen. So I think the terms are the same. You lease to I think it's 99 years for that is if you want to do like a residential property and stuff like that. If you want to do like farming or agriculture or something, it's usually about 20-25 years. So, and since majority of the landowners are the chiefs, so that is where you make this negotiations, and you want to protect it in the law by registering and all that, securing that stuff. But I didn't get any better deal being quote unquote a native Ghanaian than Brian and stuff. It was just the same terms and stuff. So, and also I think Ghana has also put into law that any African in diaspora can always return to Ghana. And some regions you can go and actually get free land. So I tell people to take advantage of that.
That's good. Now, are we? I mean, so right now, it's a welcome idea, but I just kind of wonder how would locals really take that if there's a big influx of going and buying, because people coming from here have the capital, and maybe locals don't have the capital to get the best of the best. So is it going to get to a point where we see people kind of maybe not too welcoming?
Well, so I think in general, because Ghana was probably the center of the slave trade,
yes,
for a small country like that. So most Ghanaians actually are conscious of receiving our brothers and sisters that left the continent not through choice. So you have that aspect, and also too. So being from the continent and living here about 21 years, so that's why I come in. And because I was talking to my brothers, some of his guys, and I say, okay, from the state, this is normal, right? So that's when I come in and I kind of like try to balance, the tradition, and also the to let people know that, okay, this is how we do things, and then also educating my brothers here is that, okay, this is some of the things to watch out for, and look. But as far as I know, there have never been any incident of our brothers and sisters returning to the continent creating attention. I think by foremost it's usually they see the connection, and it's deeper. It's deeper. It's just like you for the first time you are breathing and you are home. So they see that, and that connection is deep, because the things that we try to do, it's not by choice. It's just like it's ancestral. It's divine. In the African way. And so there are these forces that are moving us, So we find ourselves in these places, and we're able to make it work.
So, being from Africa myself, I know Africa is very, it's sectionalized, right? It's regional, it's tribal. So, where you're from, what if I'm trying to buy a land from maybe, the other side of the country that maybe you have no tribal connection? Can you also help in that vein?
Yes. So I think the beauty and the fortunate thing about Ghana is like we associate Ghanaian first, like tribe, second, and so since we don't really have native Ghanaians, every group came from somewhere, so nobody really claim ownership to the land. So we find ways to cohabit, in a peaceful way. So you can go to any of the 10 regions and live, and people welcome you, and that kind of stuff. So that is rare. Some places it's not the case, but Ghana is a little bit different.
But I can speak for that. I mean, being from Liberia, I think Ghana is one of the most stable countries in Africa right now, most developing country right now. They're on a very, very good pace. And I think, if you are listening to this program and you are contemplating on doing something similar, I think the best place I tell people, like, you want to go to Africa, start from Ghana. Forget even Liberia, start from Ghana. Don't South Africa. We don't. You can go to Cape Town, South Africa, but if you go to Johannesburg, you may well stay in the Netherlands because that's their place, right? But if you want to get in touch with what's really African, Black African, Sub-Saharan African, I think Ghana, Liberia with that slave trade is kind of where you want to really center yourself. All right, so Hooper, you've got your land now in Ghana. What's next?
Continue to build as I work my butt off.
Because you only have 99 years, man. So you hurt.
I know, right? Just 99, man. Then we got to renew it. But
right.
Yeah, just continue to build, man. Continue to build bridges with my brothers and sisters here and on the continent. As I move forward through these projects, more and more people contact me for information, as well as they do my friend Double A and my friend Philip Jow as well. So I just look forward to continue helping people on this journey as I continue mine.
So share that story again. When you landed in Ghana, what happened? Who met you at the airport? How'd you get from the airport to the land? Tell us that story.
As soon as I landed in Ghana, I had the homie Prempeh pick me up from the airport.
Who's
right
that?
There. That is Philip Jow's right hand man.
Okay.
And so that's Philip.
So you made a connection from here.
Yep, I met Philip Jow through Search for Uhuru.
Okay.
And I contacted the brother and we spoke, and he led me to his brother, his right hand man, Prempeh, who picked me up from the airport, then brought me to my guest house, which was right down the street from his house. And every day he picked me up. I eat breakfast and dinner with his family, and that we'd go look at land in various regions, Abri, Kaswa, where else? Accra, Bortiano, and then we eventually landed in Senya Baraku, where I bought my land at by the beach.
Why did you buy a land there?
If you go there, you'll see. It's a beautiful atmosphere, man. You stand on that hill and feel that fresh air, that fresh ocean air, and you get to see and feel those waves. And then you get to walk down to that white sand, clean beach.
Yeah.
Literally, it's like a 10 to 15 minute walk to the beach. And then the town's right next to it. So on the hill where I'm at, you can see the ocean, you can see the town, and you can also see the valley. It gets no better.
Yeah. And so what was it like, just hanging out in Ghana? I mean, how was the reception like? How they treated you? Would you ever go back? Would you recommend people take a trip there too?
As much as I don't want to keep spending money every year on plane tickets, I got to go back to Ghana every year for vacation. That's how welcoming it was. It was a beautiful experience. And I'll be back every summer as I continue to build my house and making those connections and seeing the land and seeing the city and seeing the people.
Yeah, that's good. And so and Delta goes directly to Ghana, right?
Oh yeah.
So that's
from DC and JFK.
JFK, yeah. I took a flight from JFK when I going to Accra a couple of years ago. Yeah, but so now that you've got the land and you're starting to build, have there been folks who've reached out to you and say, "Hey, man, I've been thinking about this," or tell me a little bit more about this?
Yeah, I've had at least 3 or 4 people reach out, male and female, and I just told them everything that I went through so far. Didn't sugarcoat anything like I never do, And and then as I continue to work on my project, I continue to give them more information when they reach out, and it's been a beautiful thing.
And did they ask you, hey man, what's Africa like? And what did you say?
Oh yeah. But I mean, off the bat, I told them to don't believe all the stereotypes that they hear. It's not like that at all. It's beautiful. They got construction everywhere, just like we do here. It's nothing different. And if you want to go see zebras and lions and giraffes, you got to go to the zoo or up north in the middle of nowhere, just like you got to do here.
Thank you very much.
Want to see bears and deers in Minnesota, you got to go way up north. That's where they're roaming around, just like that's the same layout as it is in Ghana, and that's the same layout as it is all over in the 54 countries in Africa.
Right. So I'm talking with Mr. Hooper and Double A. So Hooper's a young man, 27 years old, who decided to go to Africa, buy a plot of land there because that's where he'd like to, live his life for a while there. So he did some research on the internet, and he got connected with Double A, who's here also. We've been chatting with. And through this series of processes they went through, Hooper was able to fly to Ghana. Someone picked him up from the airport, housed him, drove him around, explained the process to him, showed him different regions, and then he finally settled on a place where he bought a piece of land on top of a hill where he could see the valley, the town, the beach, and all of that. So, so today we are talking about that whole process of thinking about going back to the continent and living there. And so, Hooper, have you ever thought about the trade-offs? I mean, everything in life has a trade-off, right? You gotta give up something to get something. Like, did you ever think of trade-offs when you made this decision to go to Ghana?
Yeah, there is a trade-off. The trade-off is better, though. I mean, a lot of people, when they think about trade-offs, they think of it as a negative way. Mm-hmm. The trade-off of leaving here and living in Ghana for me is I'll be at more peace. Right. I'll live a less stressful life. I'll get to eat non-GMO food on the regular. So yeah, the trade-off is wonderful.
Okay.
So yeah, that's how I answer that.
And so while you were there, I'm sure you had some Ghanaian dishes. So what were your favorite?
My favorite Ghanaian dish was wache with gari. And
gari.
Yeah. Oh, okay. My bad. And then
you said it good.
And then banku. Banku was my second favorite. Those are my favorite.
Real nice. All right, so Double A, let's chat a little bit here.
Sure.
Tell us a little bit more about this whole process. Is there like an intake or you walk? So I know you have the step-by-step video on YouTube, but when someone contacts you, what's some of the first questions they need to have answers to that you ask them?
So if it's a brother and sister from me, I say first, I always tell them visit. And I'll visit first, because like my brother said, you can't just go on the internet and decide this is where I want to stay.
Right.
It's different for everybody. So visit, and it's more like exploration. It's not like a fun trip. So you go there, go to different.
Yeah, it's not as exotic. You actually going to explore, right?
You explore.
So
find these places. Because you just have to be there and feel it. And so then once you come back, then you can just start planning, right? So. And then if you want to secure land, then in the course of your exploration, you're also finding cost and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And then once you come, you need to put a plan together. Okay, how much of my income am I going to put aside for this and stuff like that? So then you secure the land and then you want the registration process and everything. And so once you get that, then you want to do a foundation, start a little foundation. I always tell people for the foundation, it's better to be on the ground. So then it's like you actually visibly seeing that things are getting done, and also you can see the cost of materials and labor and that stuff. You can change things doing that route. But and just after that, it's just about being smart, and vetting people.
Vetting people. I mean, you're right. Yeah.
Vetting people all the time, and also make sure you have somebody vet. Somebody's watching the watcher.
That's my next question. Like you can't stay there for the entire duration of the progress of the building, but who do you trust to look after?
I have three different people, and none of them knew each other in the beginning until I got to the point that I knew my builder was legit.
Right.
And then
But you know, and the disclaimer here is, you know, there are good people and bad people everywhere, right?
Correct.
We're not sitting
Correct.
here saying the most perfect and honest people are in Africa. So you go there, you dump your money, you walk away, and you come back, your house is built, and your door is not locked, and everything is still in your house. No, right? Say, you just said it. Be smart.
yeah, be
right?
smart.
Vet
Yes,
people.
yeah, be smart. And that's when I come in and I talk to people, you know, what to watch for and that kind of stuff. And I think that it's just like anybody, you know, people will try things if they know they can get away with it.
Yeah.
And so you just have to let people know that, you know, there's a different way of how you handle your business, you know, and then also and just one thing, like I tell people, the difference of owning a house here is like, I mean, you don't really own a house.
Right,
The mortgage
right,
company owns the
yeah.
house. But in Africa, home ownership is 100%.
So, yeah, you don't pay mortgage.
That's right. It's 100%.
Yeah.
So, and the beauty thing about this, you can take your time, right? You know, next year will be 7th year for me, to, you know, and so you can take your time and just be diligent, you know. And in the process, when you visit, you also have to start looking at opportunities.
Mhm.
You know, we all have some skill here, and the thing in Africa is that you don't have to recreate. Sometimes you can make other things more efficient.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so it's just about, you know, looking at things slightly different and just immersing yourself and then starting the foundation
Right.
and just being methodical and planning and then stick with it, knowing that. And the moment you start that, like, you know, my brothers, we're gonna attest to that. It makes it easier for you to deal with stuff here because you know you have an option.
Yeah.
You have an option. So the challenge is, if you don't have any option and you think that this is the best place for you, which I don't understand why some of our brothers and sisters make this comment, this is the greatest country. Well, not for you, for somebody else.
Well, you know,
Because
I mean,
you cannot give me anything, data here, that shows that you are ranked in the top 5 of anything that is this thing. So we have to deal with certain reality that when other people make comments, they can justify that we can't. So my attitude is, if every household even attempts to do something on the continent is yours. Pick which one you want to go to. It's yours. Once we begin to do that, I think our attitude and our process will begin to think about us in a certain way, because now, not only that the money is leaving this place, because money will get people to respond, right? They can you carry yourself in a certain way. And the greatest threat to your enemy is to know who you are.
right.
And so once you find yourself, you're unstoppable.
Okay.
You're just unstoppable.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we're chatting with Hooper, who went to Ghana and bought a piece of land, and he intends to live there. And his connection to that idea is Double A, and we're having a conversation about you probably thinking about owning a piece of land in Africa also. So we'll take a break and be right back.
Helele watubaya chabula bo. Halala watubaya chabula bo. Halala watubaya chabula bo. Helele watubaya chabula bo. Halala watubaya chabula.
FM 89.9 KMOJ. We are the People Station. This is the program, The African Roots Connection. A pleasant good morning. My name is Charles Dennis. We've been talking with Hooper and Double A. Hooper, again, was a young man, 27 years old, grew up in Burnsville, Minnesota. And through some research on the internet, learned that he could own a land in Africa. So he reached out to Double A and looked a couple of videos where Double A outlays steps, how you can build a house in Ghana. So this 27-year-old young man who's finishing up his graduate program right now.
Already finished.
Oh, you finished. Look at it. All right. So
Congrats.
he took a flight to Ghana, went down there, bought a land on the hill overlooking the waters, and he's in the process 6 months now. And so we're talking about that experience here this morning. People can learn from it and know that that option is also available to you. And this is the program, The African Roots Connection. And so that's what we do. We connect you back to the roots of Africa. And so I know we were just having a chat offline here, and we were talking about the experience that Hooper had when he went to Ghana. Let's talk about it, like, right?
Yeah, so my brother Hooper came to Ghana, and then I knew he was coming, but one of those days I was super busy on site. And so he called me, and he was like, "Bro, I'm downstairs." And I was like, what? What do you mean you're downstairs? He was like, "I'm here." And I'm like, how did he even find this place? So I go downstairs.
In your house?
In my house. I go downstairs, there he was.
That's Africa for you.
I was like, I was so excited. I was like, how did he get? He was like, we were just driving by and I saw the gate. And I was like, yeah, that's the house. So he found his way. I just gave him like the location, and he just, winners find way, like we say. So he just found his way to the house, and then, he's a lion.
All right. So Hooper, how did you know the house?
Yeah, man. So Double A has this unique fence in front of his house, man, and it's like it's not like anybody else's. So I just knew that he lived on New Market Street. That's all he needed to tell me. That's all he told me. And then when I was with Prempeh driving through Kaswa, because Prempeh lives in Kaswa as well, I was like, "We're on New Market Street." He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "All right, my friend lives around here somewhere. I don't know, but I just know he lives on New Market Street." And as we're driving down New Market Street, I seen this gate. I was like, "Oh, that's Double A's gate. It has to be." And then I just stopped, and then we pulled over, and I went to the house, and I knew it was his house because I've been, watching him on YouTube, seeing him build it, and I talked to him, and I was like, "Man, I'm downstairs. I'm at your house." He was like, "What? You're at my house?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm here right now at your house in Kaswa." He's like, "Oh, wow." And he came downstairs, man, and greeted me, and one thing led to another.
That's Africa for you, man.
You don't need GPS in Ghana.
You don't need
That's right.
GPS.
Find
You don't
a
need
way.
house number. You just need to ask people, right?
That's right. That's right.
Oh man, that's a very fine example right there. And so I know you're still publishing stuff on YouTube. That way you still right?
Yep.
Making videos. And so I know. So Hooper reached out to you. How many other people have been reaching out to you since you started this whole process?
I would say it started with about maybe 1 or 2 a week, and then the last 2 weeks, I'm getting like 3 to 5 a day. So that also let me know that people are thinking about these things.
3 to 5 a day.
3 to 5 a day.
That's a lot.
And I'm getting like it's like different continents. So, and it's just like the message, the voice is still in people. People just want a way of how to approach this. So I think if you are like in the process of thinking about these things, my YouTube channel is Forever Home, for like the number on the jersey, or you can send me an email at ghdreamhomes@gmail.com. So GH as Ghana, dreamhomes@gmail.com. You can contact me, and then we can just take it from there. So, but the goal is to make sure that you develop the continent, because right now it's for the taking again. And we can't blame anybody if we sit down and watch why the continent is pillaged again. So we have an opportunity, a unique opportunity to get in there and get a continent back. So you are not alone. It's possible. We've proven it. And so you just, if you're thinking about something like that, just connect, and then we'll just take it from there.
So, I'm assuming, or I can imagine that with these calls increasing, you might also have to increase, your contact in Ghana and what have you. Right now, you got 2 people, maybe it have to be 4 or 5.
Yeah. So the fortunate thing for me was that I was able to get, quality people on all steps. So actually, when I was coming here this morning, one of my guys just texted me, and he was like, I have like 4 calls, of people, and then, he did a code for 2 other guys, and they gave him the job, so he's gonna start next week. And then I told him, hey, produce superior work, right?
So these are construction
Yes.
people, right? Who
So one
build-
is
builders.
like he does like window designing,
Okay.
and then one is does the ceiling work, the POP.
Mhm.
So and because what I'm trying to do is to let them know that the same way relationship we develop, they have to transfer that with other people, and as long as they do that, there will always be work
Yeah.
for them to do.
Yeah.
So I think that is the challenge of finding people
Yeah.
that will be able to execute the things you want without any stress. So I think I've been fortunate in having those connections. So they are busy.
Mhm.
They are very busy down there.
But again, I know I asked this question in the beginning of the conversation here. Is like, what's in it for you? Why should you get 3-4 calls a day? It's like what's in it for you? I mean, this is like taking time away from your personal life.
Like I said in the beginning, when the ancestor call,
Okay.
you must listen. And for me, I've always believed that, yes, we may claim, valid claim, that we build this country, but somebody has taken over. So we have a choice: take it back, or build our continent and put ourselves in a way that nobody can take it again. So that is, for me, that is the drive and that is the motivation.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing will make me happier, because I live in America with a different swag.
Mm.
I can deal with everything else I see every day, because I know it's a temporary thing for me.
Yeah.
So if our brothers and sisters feel this way, and they know that, hey, my kids, my grandkids doesn't have to live under this condition, I think it is mentally and emotionally, it's a big relief. So that is the thing that maybe if somebody has a calling, that is that for me. And that is why I built this big house, for that reason, is that the brothers and sisters they can always go home and be at home, truly at home, mentally, emotionally, and everything at home. So that is not more. People have approached me or make it a business and stuff like that, and I said, fine, but that is not the thing that drives me.
Yeah.
When my brother Brian, reached out to me and we talked and we met, and I was like, man, it's like I was more excited than he was, because I was like, this is why I did a YouTube video.
Mm-hmm.
This is why.
That's good to know, man. And so let's talk about that transferable skill set that you. I know, Brian. So you graduate in sports management. Is that what it is?
Correct.
Okay. So how do you intend to use that in Ghana?
Before I answer that question, I want to say one thing.
Mm-hmm.
AA, Philip Jow, nobody that I've come in contact with for Ghana who has helped me on this project, they haven't charged me a dime. So what they've got out of it is just pure love and seeing a young brother who could be their son or brother get back to the continent and find peace. That's what they get out of it, the deal. It's pure love, it's organic, and it's no BS. Nobody's trying to get in each other's pockets. Nobody's trying to stiff each other. It's real brothers who are working together for a real cause, for a real reason, and nobody's looking to be above anyone.
Wow, that's great.
Mm.
All right.
But yes, as far as my degree and my profession and what I'm trying to, how will I use that in Ghana? I will eventually build a community rec center and also work within the community, within their sports and recreation departments to provide a variety of different activities for the youth and older adults. So that's how I intend on using my skills and profession in Ghana, giving back to the sporting community. And I'm right by the beach, so we can also incorporate water sports, like surfing and and boating and a variety of other things.
So most of those sports you're talking about require equipment. How are you going to do about that?
Oh, that's easy. We get a lot of free equipment here in the States. We got to start taking advantage of the things that we have here and bringing them back to Africa. So as of right now, I have a garage half full of with different variety of sporting equipment, from tennis balls to tennis rackets to basketballs to footballs to soccer balls to different paddings and cones. So I have a variety of sporting equipment, and it's only going to get more, and it's only going to get bigger, and then I'm going to ship it all to Ghana.
Great story. So, man, we're talking with Brian Hooper here in Double A. So, what's Double A for? Let's just talk about it. How do people want to Double A? Yeah, let's get a long African name, all right?
Yeah. So, actually, it's abbreviation for my first name is Anthony, last name Amankwa, so Double A.
Double A.
So,
okay.
yeah,
I
so that's where it comes from.
Yeah, it's not so long. So, yeah.
Yeah, but to pick on how we've been volunteer, because I was a good soccer player, college in.
He's a good soccer player.
Yeah.
Right? Did you hear that, Brian? He's just a
Very
soccer
good,
player. He's a good. All right.
Good soccer player. You know, both in high school and college. So, and I do coaching. So, when my brother built his complex, I volunteer. I can.
You'll be there. Yeah.
I have 14 years of coaching, so I can, coach there.
So one day, man, we're gonna have like a USA reunion in Ghana, like everybody who's got a house.
We gotta make it happen.
Right on the beach.
We have to make it happen.
Right, like God,
we have to make
how
it happen.
beautiful that would be. Like what part of the states you from? If you live in Ghana, we're doing a barbecue this Saturday. Come on through. Amazing.
We're gonna make that happen.
Yeah,
I'm planning to do a small little something next year for my 40th birthday in Ghana. So it's gonna be like a birthday and then like a housewarming kind of like party. So I'll give it, I'll give a shout out to my subscribers. Anybody has contacted me.
Listen, he's putting on the radio, so buy a ticket to Ghana.
That's right.
He's got a big house. Just come on through, right? Celebrate.
Just come in.
And then you can have some of the good food that Brian had when he was down there.
Yes, sir. At Wache and Gari.
Yeah.
But Gary is what you said. You got it right. You got it right. Well, that's good.
Yeah, food is good.
Yeah. And so, did you have a time to roll around the capital city at all while you were there?
I did not, man. I was so busy looking at beautiful landscapes. I missed the capital city. I did.
Yeah, I think that's people have the conception that sometimes we from the continent we are not as developed as they think we are. But I wish you had gone to the capital city and see the cars and the streets and the buildings and what have you, because it's just like
Yeah, I got to see some of the big buildings, right when you land in the airport area. So there, of course, there's all the skyscrapers. And so, you're not missing anything from here to there. It's still got tall buildings, skyscrapers. You got plenty of fabulous hotels. Everything we have here, we have there, but it's just more peaceful there. A lot fresher air, definitely in Senya Baraku. And the people are more welcoming. You don't have to worry about gunshots every day. You ain't got to worry about all the drugs and crackheads and everything else that comes with living in America, roaming around. But every place has its good and bad. I'm not trying to overhype anything. It is a third world developing country, but it's the most peaceful and the fastest developing country. So you should always take that into consideration and just go see it for yourself and you get that personal experience and go from there.
And another thing too about Africa, food. We don't refrigerate food too much. You get up in the morning, you go buy everything fresh, you cook it, you consume it for that day. Tomorrow morning, you go again, right?
That's
It's not packaged, it's not frozen, it's all fresh.
That's right. And that matters, with because I work in a lab, so I know what goes on in the food, and don't believe what the FDA and those guys are telling you. Trust me. I look at chemical compositions and warning signs on a daily basis. So there's nothing more organic, and better for you than an African food. So
that's true, man. Get that fish live and that crab live, or lobster boil from the ocean.
Yes, sir.
Right there and there, you're cooking it. That's it's just amazing. And I'm very happy that we can actually have this conversation on the radio, because I think people might think it, but I guess when they hear it, right, and they see other people have done it already, and we're just talking about the number of celebrities who've actually owned property in Ghana now. It's large, and every African American maybe have heard about E.B. Du Bois, right? He was a guy who he lived there and he was buried there, and then you've got a slew of other celebrities right now, like Will Smith and a lot of other people down there buy land in Ghana in particular. And also, one of the most significant artifacts that impact slave trade is that castle and how slaves used to go down those stairs in that castle, and you would never ever see your land again or your people again. And the castle is still standing there, and that's one thing where I heard people who've been there actually can see markings that slaves left on the wall that still exists today. So again, if you're trying to trace your roots, right, that's kind of where you want to go. That's where you want to start from. But the best part about it, nobody gonna sell you no more, So you going back now with some royalty and peace, as the brother was saying. And I joke with people who actually sometimes downplay Africa, and I tell them, I said, if there are only 2 cars that were made in this world, I guarantee you one will be in Nigeria. I don't care how much it costs, right?
That's right.
Nigerian people buy it. You can,
Yeah.
I don't want to say Ferrari and Lamborghini because those are for some Nigerians, those are cheap cars. Whatever
right.
the most expensive car in the world, if they made only 2, I promise you one is going to be in Nigeria. So when you think of Africa, it's people. A guy told me one time, and he said, "Why are you guys always begging?" And it was when Oprah just opened up that school in South Africa. He said, "Seems like you guys beg for hospitals, And I said, I went to Katrina, hurricane in Louisiana, right? And I said, what if I took a camera there and I recorded what I saw, the devastation and the distress, and I took that video recording to Africa, and I said, can you help Americans? Look at how they live. And I said, is that true? It's not true. So yeah, there are wealthy part of Africa, extremely wealthy, and there are some poor areas. So if missionaries goes, Oprah goes to Africa and go to the poor side and film a video of kids not going to school and bring it here and solicit money, that doesn't mean the whole of Africa is that poor. It's just not a true reflection, right? Some of us don't brag, but the level of wealth that some in Africa grew up with and was born with, I've not even seen it yet. I mean, quite honestly, you come here, you struggle a little bit, you pay bills. There, you don't pay bills. You're wealthy. Your capital is yours. So it's not the dark continent. People say the dark continent because of their own ignorance, right? If I don't know what's behind this wall, I think it's a dark wall. But if I knew what's there, then I'd be excited. Like we go into these planets now, we're finding out these planets, what's there, it's no longer far-fetched. And I think the whole core in the dark continent came about the laziness of people or inaptitude of people, inability of people to go and find out what was really on the continent. And if you just take a snapshot of these great empires, the Gold Coast, the Timbuktu, and all those places, I mean, right now gold is one of the richest mineral. People are putting money in gold, right? But we're talking about the source of gold is Ghana, right?
Yes, sir.
They think you worship and adore here today, the source of gold is Ghana. It's what's called the Gold Coast. So if you think of those little things, you can tell that it's not really the dark continent. And if you look at a cradle of civilization where everything started from agriculture, irrigation, architectural designs and everything, it was in Egypt. It was on the continent, right?
Yeah.
But yet and still, people refer to it as the dark continent. We've got lights. We've got the brightest moon at night, and we've got the hottest sun on earth. That goes through Kumasi, right? The equator, right? So, again, where that came from, I guess we will never know. But like Double A said, we changing the game, we changing the narrative, we representing ourselves. We saying that, you know what, there's a place where I can go. Like Hooper said, I can lay my head and I can drive. Even if I drive with a broken tail light, I'm not going to get shot.
Right.
I'm not, and so that's kind of the context in which you see it at. And Double was saying, I'm a black man in America, but I'm a black man with a different swag, right? Because I know that somewhere I can go where I am valued. So what you do to me right now is temporary, right? Because I know when I'm ready, I can pack my bags and go somewhere that I know that I will be the great person that I was made to be, right? I can fulfill my greatness without you trying to hold me down or push me down or deter me or put barriers in my way. So therefore, when these discrimination comes your way, you look at it with a smile and be like, carry on, because I've got something better than this, right? And so that's the kind of a mindset we want for every one of our brothers and sisters to also do that. And so Brian, I'm happy that you took this step and you connected with Double A. And Double A is not charging a penny, because Brian said it. All through this process, flying there, buying land, driving around, no one ever asked you for a dime.
Not one. And I appreciate everybody who's helped me on this journey. Double A, Philip Jow, Nana Prempe, and Brother Bomani, and so on and so forth. It's been a beautiful experience so far, and the journey continues.
It continues. And so let's talk about those links and websites and YouTube channels again, so people can go and see for themselves.
Yep, if you want to watch my videos, you can go to and see my journey. You can go to YouTube, type in Adano Ali. Adano is spelled Adano Ali. That is my YouTube name and channel. You can check out my whole experience on YouTube at Adano Ali. And if you want to get in contact with me for some personal information about Ghana or anything you need, any inquiries, just hit me up on my email at bryanhooper1991 at gmail.com. And
Double A,
so you can check my YouTube channel, Forever Home, so for like the number on the jersey, or you can send me an email at ghdreamhomes@gmail.com. So you can contact me, but I would say, if you have any feeling that there's more to life than how you've been treated here, I think Africa might be a good option for you.
So I just pulled it up. I see you here. You got part 22, right?
Yes.
Building in Ghana, part 21, 22. Yeah. So this is real. All right. So check it out. Looking at the construction of different homes here. You pull up Brian's also, right? Well, this is a video that is worth seeing, actually, the construction of these homes in Ghana and how much it cost. And again, so Double A's video channel is the number 4 Ever Home on YouTube. And then Hooper is Adano, Adano Ali, space there, Ali. And you can see his story of building his home in Ghana. So he kind of made a video timeline where you can follow. So don't take Double A word for it because he's from Ghana, right? But just go to Hooper's page, because he's been there, he's seen it, and he's been through the process that Double A laid out. So that's your evidence right there. That's your testimony.
Real quick, Brother Charles, I also want to mention that don't be scared to take this journey by yourself. I did this journey alone, by myself. I went to Ghana, went through the whole process, met all these people on my own. So never be afraid to fly by yourself or travel by yourself. You came into this world by yourself. You leave by yourself. So be content with one and yourself, and you have an understanding of self and travel this world.
Yeah, but and that's true for Ghana, because when I went a couple of years ago, we had some misunderstanding with our flights, and they were very helpful. The Delta attendant walked us, the full length and breadth of the building, trying to make sure that we were okay before he left our side. He abandoned what he was doing, his job, and he worked with us and took us to the ticketing agent, came back to the gate. Like maybe we walked maybe a mile back and forth, right, making sure that we were taken care of before he went back to his post. And so you get that service everywhere in Ghana you go. I know, in fact, more and more Liberians are actually visiting Ghana, staying longer.
That's right.
Also, getting properties there, because it's developing. It's a wonderful place. People smile a lot. They're friendly, very approachable. They're always willing to help, drive you somewhere, and not always asking for money, but just doing it because it's they're happy that you're in the country, and it means a lot to them. And so, like Brian said, don't be afraid to take a trip. But again, before you do, if you want to check in with either Double A or him, just to get a mental concept of what you will be getting into, it's always a good thing to do. So again, think about it, contact them, and good luck. It's exciting. I'm thinking about it myself, and I'm getting excited because I love home, man. Yeah. Right now it's about maybe 90-some degrees.
Yes.
Beautiful.
You cannot wait. So right now I'm in Liberia. It says 84 degrees is the temperature, but it feels like 97. Can you believe me taking that from on the beach? So that's what we're looking forward to. Yeah. So again, this is the program, the African Roots Connection. We've come to close here, and we will let Bongo Jerry take over, and he will be here with Tropical Vibes, Cool Runnings in a few minutes. And then until next week, we'll be talking about Kwanzaa next week, actually. Just have a wonderful, happy holidays, and we'll talk to you soon, okay? Bye-bye.
Malay